It is finally list week of the 2010s, the list week of the decade, and I have a lot of lists to do. And because I am kind of late to the hype here, it's already halfway through January 2020. I'm just going to start off with a hell of a list. Actually, the first list that I finished, and that is the top 100 best songs of the 2010s. Also, please keep in mind that I really spent a lot of time, like a lot of time making this list, and I really made sure every single song in the top 100 deserves to be in the top 100 and in the right order. I have swapped song orders on this list multiple times just to get it perfectly right. And since I have 54 honorable mentions in order, so I'm going to split this video into two parts, and in this part I'm going to talk about the honorable mentions and from top 100 to number 61. Let's go. Starting off, we have Gesaffelstein with Pursuit, a gothic, harsh, electronic banger, and afterwards we have Alvvays with the dreamy and catchy In Undertow. And just as catchy would be Post Malone's Rockstar featuring 21 Savage, and then we have Perfume Genius Slip Away, which is very explosive and faithful, and just as explosive would be Remo Drive with You're Killin' Me, which is more emo and more rock. And also, even more explosive would be The OCs or OCs with The Static God. I just really love the freaky vocals and the blissful bridges of the track. And then an electronic, plasticky jazz fusion banger would be Super Zodiac by The Comet is Coming, a UK jazz group. And also from the UK, HMLTD with Mannequin, which is this satirical, gothic, pop, rock banger. And then afterwards we have Anohni with the emotional drone bomb me. And then we have Rina Sawayama with the futuristic R&B track Cyber Stockholm Syndrome. And then afterwards we have Mount Eerie facing up front to Death with the track Real Death, which is this really sad lo-fi folk song. And then afterwards Azaelia Banks with 212, which is before Azaelia Banks became a Twitter beef woman, but it's truly a banger. It's a good hip house song. And then afterwards we have Billy Woods with Tinseltown. I really love the ringing instrumentals and the really well written bars. And then it's the track by Solange with the angelic cranes in the sky. And then afterwards it's Blood Orange with the holistic and sweet saint. And then it's Preoccupations with Anxiety, a really icy, cold, chomping post-punk track. And then it's Crying with Premonitory Dream, which is a very optimistic, uplifting, and moving pop rock jam. And then afterwards, it's Show Me the Body with Buddy Wah, which is an awesome New Yorkian hardcore punk song. And then we have 21 Savage reappearing again with Metro Boomin and Offset with Ghostface Killer featuring Travis Scott, which is this really icy, cold trap rap banger as well. And then we have Ed Schrader's music beat with Dunce if you want something more raw and skeletal and repetitious. And then it's Tune Yards with Water Fountains with its zany vocal performances and catchy melodies. And then it is Converge with Aimless Arrow, which is this really emotionally distraught and distressing and destructive metal song. And then we have Purple Mountains with the incredibly depressing, lost and lonely Margaritas at the Mall. Rest in peace, David Berman. And then to end off, we have Mick Jenkins with Vibe, which is a really mellow and laid-back rap track. I love the beat of the thing. I love the vocal effects. And at 130, we have Florence and the Machine with We All Gotta Hunger, which is a really driving and uplifting song. And then afterwards, we have Nails with You Will Never Be One of Us. It's a hell of a death metal track. And then afterwards we have Jay-Z rapping as himself, Sean Carter, very humbly on 444 with its soulful samples. And then YG with FDT, very unapologetically this time. Love the beats. I love the very socio-politically charged angry lyrics. And Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, great guy, great rapper. And then we have Schoolboy Q with Groovy Tony, which is totally badass. And then Regina Spektor with Older and Taller with jaunty pianos and really lively, youthful vocals. And then Joey Badass with the throwback West Coast hip hop track Land of the Free with its very conscious lyrics. And then for something more experimental and abstract, we have Eulogy by Shabazz Palaces with its noisy, cacophonous instrumentals. And then it's Haim with The Wire, which has some really nice, charismatic vocal performances, nice, stripped back instrumentals as well, just a lot of personality. And then it's Sturgill Simpson with the very badass garage rock / country song, Brace for Impact, Live a Little. And then at 120, we have Mac Miller with 100 Grandkids. Rest in peace to him as well. And this track is just so catchy and breezy. I love it. And then it's Wise Blood with A Lot's Gonna Change, which is this very grand, cinematic, but also dreamy and nostalgic sort of art pop track. And then we have Gautier with Somebody That I Used to Know featuring Kimbra, which is one of my childhood favorites. It's just kind of crazy to think that a song released in the 2010s early on would be one of my childhood favorites, and now I'm about to finish high school. But this song is just super catchy, and it's one of my favorite breakup pop songs anyway, of the decade. You didn't have to cut me off. And then afterwards we have the very stern and solemn Blood Buzz Ohio by The National. And then we have Battles with Futura, which is very sweet and colorful, but also mechanical and calculated. And then we have Little Sims with Selfish featuring Cleo Sol, just a very beautiful, gorgeous, elegant UK rap song. And then another one of my childhood favorites would be Adele with Rolling in the Deep, which is incredibly catchy. Love the chords, and it just brings back memories, really. And then we have Iggy Pop returning. The guy still has it with the track Gardenia, which has a lot of personality. And then Chance the Rapper with the very colorful, blissful rap pop song No Problem featuring Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. And then it's Crystal Castles with Not in Love featuring Robert Smith. And the fact that Robert Smith fits into the song so well is just magical. It's amazing, and I really love the pounding electronic beats. It's very emotional as well. And then at 110 we have Fiona Apple with the track Hot Knife. Full of personality, love the lyrics, love how stripped back the instrumentals are. If I'm butter, then he's a hot knife. He makes my heart a cinemas go see so and dancing birds of paradise. And then afterwards we have Lewis Cole with the funky and introverted weird part of the night. And then Sophie with the very fun, catchy banger, VZ. If you go crazy and go pop. Crazy and go pop. And then afterwards we have Slater Kinney. They still have it as well with No Cities to Love, which is this post-punk track with a lot of personality. And then afterwards it is Joanna Newsom with Good Intentions Paving Company, and even though she's well known for her harps, this track is my favorite of hers because it is such a driving piano-backed track. And then we have Missy Elliott with Where They From, WTF, featuring Pharrell Williams, which is a total banger. I love the very kooky and crazy performances by Missy Elliott. The beat produced by Pharrell is amazing as well. That rhymes. And then we have Sandy Alex G with Gretel. I love the melting guitars, the weird vocal effects, and also the chorus of the thing. And then we have Subtract with Pharaohs featuring Roses Gabor. I love the skittery, scattery instrumentals. And Roses Gabor, she's the girl who sang Dare by Gorillaz. So check this song out. And then, oh my gosh. Oh, all these songs, I want to put them in the top 100, but I can't. And this track is Deaf Heaven's Dream House, which I think is one of the most cinematic, epic, and powerful openings of black metal, and actually the most in black gaze ever. Love the very surreal and epic and dreamy guitar chords. I love the very powerful lyrics and the shrill screams. And then Oh my gosh. I just wish that these songs are in the top 100, but there are just so many good songs. Great, actually. This is Deer Hunter's Revival. I just really love these springy guitars, just adds this nice European flavor. I love the muffled vocals, which makes this track kinda full of personality and kind of nostalgic as well. And then we have Onda Tropica with Bunkero Sonidero, which is this really awesome punk flavored Latin tropical jam where all the instrumentals have their own shining moment. It's very colorful and very bright. Anyways, here is my top 100 songs of the decade. Let's go. Starting off, I have to mention them because they are one of the most important bands in my life, and it is Coldplay with the track Hurts Like Heaven, which is one of my favorites from theirs, super underrated, and it's this super bright and optimistic and fun, blissful pop rock track. And then at number 99, it is Janelle Monáe with Tightrope featuring Big Boy, which has this really disorienting chord progression, and I love Big Boy's verses on this. Janelle Monáe is great as well. And at 98, we have Future of the Left with Johnny Borrell Afterlife, which is this really comedic, eccentric, a little sarcastic UK post-punk track, and it's really raw here. It's really quick and urgent here, and every part of this track, the melodic bits, the more clunky bits, they're all perfect and they fit together really well. And then we have at number 97, we have US Girls with Rosebud, which is this really luscious and somewhat glamorous art pop song with some really nice plasticky instrumentals here, and I just really love the sweet vocals and melodies of the track. And then at number 96, I'm giving it to Vampire Weekend with Step, one of my favorite Vampire Weekend songs that feels very humble, sincere, but also festive and nice. At number 95, I am giving it to Absol with Terrorist Threats featuring Danny Brown and Janae Aiko, which is this moody rap song that is very politically charged. But what really carries this song are Danny Brown and Absol's flows. They're so animated, they have so much personality, and their rhymes, they're fantastic. And then at number 94, I am giving it to Melt Banana with Candy Gun, which is this very shimmery, bright, sharp, hardcore punk, almost heavy metal song from Japan. And then at number 93, you may be surprised to hear this, but I actually like this song a lot, and given how culturally impactful the song is, I have to give it to Drake with Hotline Bling. Even though he's not one of the better artists of the decade, in my opinion, this song is a really catchy and warm sort of rap pop track, and chances are he didn't write this thing, but it's still very catchy. The beat is really well utilized as a song. And then afterwards we have at 92, it is Bon Iver with Hollow Scene, which is one of the more stripped back and hollow scene folk songs of the decade, which is actually really, really beautiful and kinda emotional and powerful as well. And at number 91, as far as experimental black metal goes, I'm giving it to Altar of Plagues, all the way from Ireland, with God Alone. It's just this clanky, abstract, weird, demented, disorienting black metal song. Gung, 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 gung. And afterwards, at number 90, keep in mind that I have given so much thought into making this list. All the songs in the top 100, in my opinion, deserve it. And at number 90, it is Mariam the Believer with The String of Everything, which is undoubtedly one of the catchiest art pop songs I've ever heard in this decade. And I just really love the very light instrumentals of the thing, but the melodies, they are somewhat sad, but also moving and driving and compelling. The vocals, they're immense, they're beautiful. It's just a very powerful but also catchy ballad. And then also just as catchy at number 89 would be Pup with Free at Last. Just cause you're sad again, it doesn't make you special at all. Which is this explosive, youthful, lively pop punk rager with a lot of personality. And at 88, again, call me a mainstream pleb, but I kind of have to give it to Lady Gaga with one of the most moving ballads that she had ever done, and my favorite song from hers as well, and that is Million Reasons. And then flipping the page at number 80, I lost count, 87. Oh my gosh, I love this track, and that is Klela's Rewind, all the way from Ethiopia. And this track is a very sensual and sexy and moody R&B track. I love the deep bass lines of the song and the very nice light instrumentals, but Klela's vocals is also fantastic. Just a lot of personality, and it's kind of impressive how she sings she sings with so little effort but still sounds so confident, thus making her sound sensual and sexual. It's actually kind of impressive. Anyways, at number 86, again, call me a mainstream pleb, but it is Carly Rae Jepsen with Emotions. However, I would put a tie on the spot with Call Me Maybe and Emotions. I love both of these tracks. Call Me Maybe is one of my childhood favorites. It is super nostalgic to me, and it brings back a lot of memories to me, and it's catchy AF, I have to admit. But Emotions might be my favorite song from hers. Of course, the chords on this track, they're nostalgic, they're dreamy. I love the drumsticks on this track. Her vocals are very cute. And then at number 85, a total banger. It's raw, it's mechanical, it's industrial, it's Run the Jewels with Close Your Eyes and Count to Fuck, featuring Zach De La Roca. And yeah, it's a banger. It's brutal, it's raw, and it has some of the best and most witty bars of the year, of the decade actually. And at 84, I'm giving it to Dram with Cash Machine, which is this really catchy, fun pop rap song, one of the catchiest of the year, and just so much personality of Dram, from Dram. And the singing is not bad, the beat is pretty cool. And then at 83, I am giving it to Holy Ghost with It Gets Dark, which is a subdued and somewhat edgy and moody dance pop banger. Yes, it's also a banger. It's amazing at parties. It's extremely catchy, but again, it's subdued with its buzzing keyboards and its very cold, stone-faced vocals. And then at 82, we have Ariel Pink with Put Your Number in My Phone, Put Your Number in My Phone, which is this really sad and nostalgic pop song about wanting this girl affection. And it not only is it really relatable, but it's also a very dense and sort of surreal track that just lets you sink into it and swim in it. And it's absolutely beautiful, one of my favorites of the decade. And then we have Liturgy at number 81 with the track God of Love, which is such epic and cinematic of a transcendental black metal track. I have to include it in the decade list. And it's a very grand track. It's not a pure black metal track, because you get some harps, you get some strings, and they're gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Anyways, at number 80, wow, so tough. All of these songs are so great. At number 80, it is Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with Thuggin', which is super duper well produced because it's Madlib on the beat here. The intro of the track and the outro of the track are both amazing. And then we have the middle parts of the track, and it's kind of awesome to hear a thuggish rap song with such dreamy and ethereal instrumentals. And then we have Freddie Gibbs just rapping on top in a really masculine tone. I love the triplet flows. And then at 79, we have D'Angelo and the Vanguard with The Charade, which is super nostalgic and throwback. It sort of brings back a lot of memories, even when you first hear the song for some reason. It's gorgeous, it's magical, and it's just so cutesy and soft for some reason. There's a certain cuteness and sweetness to the song that I just really, really love. The intimate vocals and the loose instrumentals as well, very unique. And at 78, of course, FKA Twigs with 2 Weeks, which is one of the best R&B songs of the decade, with its bed of scratching synths and FKA Twigs' very angelic vocals and just the very epic climax of the track. The whole thing is both sensual and existential. And then afterward, at number 77, we have Lizzo with Juice, a very upbeat, catchy, confident pop song about respecting your own body. And usually I cringe at upbeat pop music. Not this. It's actually very, very catchy, and the vocals are amazing. And then at number 76, it is Woman with Eyesore. And Woman, before its Woman is what happened before Preoccupations, before the demise of Chris Reimer. And Eyesore is a track. And Eyesore is a post-punk song that is really sweet and beautiful and nostalgic and dreamy, but also at the same time very cold. You can really feel the snowing, the blizzard when you're listening to this track. And it also feels really lonely and isolated, and it just brings some really amazing imagery and chords on this track. They're amazing. Anyways, at number 75, it is a banger again, and that is the UK Indian singer-songwriter MIA with the track Borders. Borders, what's up with that? And this is one of the few songs where a trap beat works so well in a track with such repetitious and, dare I say, Indian-flavored instrumentals. And again, the very angry performances and lyrics, very socio-politically charged, and I just love it. And at 74, it is Queens of the Stone Age with Smooth Sailing. Between the clipping intro and the detuned guitar solo, it is very hard-hitting guitar grooves and some really charismatic and wild vocals by Josh Homme of the band. And then at 73, super underrated track, it is Richard Dawson with Scientist, which is this medieval-tinged folk track with its raw, clanky, organic guitars that are played so harshly, and the finger-picked guitar solo is so beautiful. The group choirs, the children choir, they just add so much personality to the track, and it's so urgent, so faithful as well. At 72, I am giving it to Timber Timbre with Hot Dreams, which is a very quiet and slow ballad, but it is also one of the most gorgeous and beautiful and lovely ballads of the decade, because this song is about love, but more importantly, this song is about lust and it's physical attraction, and it's executed and written in a way it's honestly dreamy and lovely, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it lets you sink into the song and really dabble into the very slow strings and gently strummed guitars and the very manly but also gentle vocals as well. And then at 71, I have to give it to Travis Scott with 90210, 90210, looking for the valley, featuring Casey Hill. And this is my favorite Travis Scott song because in the first half it is this very lonely and kind of melancholic but also somewhat sweet and sharp track. And then afterwards, at the second half, with a very impressive beat change, we get some nice clappy beats and Travis Scott almost sort of accepting his own fate, and it just feels more spacey and more final, and it actually sounds beautiful. Something so unique and so creative coming out of trap rap. Yeah. And at number 70, call me a mainstream pleb, but it is Beyonce with Formation. Oh yes, oh yes! It's such a catchy song. The vocals, they are so swagger, and there's just something so sharp and bouncy and hard hitting about the beats, and there's just this very confident performance in this track that makes this track so engaging and entertaining. I have to include it in the top 70. And then at number 69, it is The Mountain Goats with Rain in Soho, which is this piano driven goth rock song, and there are no guitars, but it still sounds amazing. The constantly rumbling rhythms of the track, the really downtrodden lyrics, and the performances, the gothic choir in the back, it's all pretty epic, I have to say. And then at 68, that track was 6'9", and at 68, it is Childish Gambino with This Is America, which is not only a total awesome trap rap banger, and the trap beat itself is unique, it's muddled up, but also the rudimentary lyrics actually, while they're simple, they actually talk about the socio-political climate of the USA really, really well. Great performances by Childish Gambino, really smart fusion between just gospel choir and just raw, simple hip-hop. And then at 66, we have, at 67, we have A Tribe Called Quest with We the People, which is off of the last Tribe Called Quest album, rest in peace, Five Dog. And this is a very awesome song. It is East Coast hip-hop. The beat is grimy, it's catchy, the bars, they are funny, brutal, witty, the performances, they're on point, and just so much chemistry between rappers. Q-Tip is an amazing producer. And then at 66, I am going to give it to Julia Holter with Sea Calls Me Home. I can't swim, its lucidity so clear. The angelic and cute vocals, they make this track sound very innocent and harmless, but then we have the Baroque pianos that are very gorgeous and luscious, and then we have a whistle solo, and then a sax solo, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then at 65, my favorite Bruno Mars song, and that is When I Was Your Man, which is this very moving, raw, emotional ballad about regrets, and it's just Bruno Mars at his finest. Amazing vocals. And then at 64, Sufjan Stevens with Should Have Known Better off of Carrie and Lowell, which is an album dedicated to his mother after her passing. And this is one of the most heartful, I don't know if that's a word, but it's heartful. It has a lot of heart and also emotional ballads of all of the decade anyway. And it's about death, it's about mortality, but it's shown in a way it's so beautiful, and it's shown in a light that's rather lovely and memory driven, and in turn it actually feels sadder and more impactful to its listeners. And it's just such a powerful track. Even though it sounds so little, it means so much. And Sufjan's angelic vocals, yeah. And at 63, one of my favorite pop songs of the decade, also one of my childhood favorites, and that is Sia's Sia Chandelier. Wow, this track, this is a pop song, and it's explosive, and that's an understatement. It explodes, it bursts into like a total big bang. Like the vocals, they're so loud, they're so unapologetic, and they reach such soaring heights. It's a total blast. And yeah, that alone puts this song at 63. And at 62, I am giving it to Future Islands with Seasons Waiting for You, which is one of my favorite synth pop songs of the decade. And it's such a driving and moving synth pop song. It's constantly running, and it still sounds like it has It has so much feelings and emotions embedded within the instrumentals, and the vocal performances, they're so faithful, and they're so passionate. You can really feel the vocalist of the band just bleeding his heart out while recording this song. And there's something so nostalgic and dreamy and hopeful about this track, yet there's something dragging it down, like sad, painful memories, and it's just so it just makes you feel. It makes you feel. And then at 61, at the end of this list, I am giving it to Idols, the UK hardcore punk rock band with Mother, with a really strange song structure, and the fact that this track is actually driven completely by the bass. Finally, some recognition and some spotlight on the bass player. Yes! And Joe Talbot's absolutely furious performances, his raw, tongue-in-cheek vocals, and just the very blunt, angry lyrics of the track. This has to be one of my favorite hardcore punk songs of the decade, and yeah, very politically charged about Tories, kind of funny as well, and again, one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna end this list right here, and I'm going to talk about the top 60 songs of the decade tomorrow. And yeah, what are your favorite songs of the decade? Comments below, let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching.